Hello, students. So, in the previous lecture, we had discussed about the separation of the mixture of a solid and that of the liquid when they are present together. What kind of a method, what kind of a separation technique we should use to separate the components from each other. Okay, and we have started with the filtration process, that how the use of filter paper help us to separate the solid substance which is left as a residue on the filter paper, and the liquid is obtained in the form of a filtrate. Okay, so we discussed that how a sand and water or a chalk or water can be separated by the process of filtration. Later on we studied that centrifugation. So we studied in centrifugation, it is a method in which the suspended particle, the particles which do not get settled down, is rotated at a high speed in a centrifuge machine, and after that from there the suspended particles, they get coagulated with each other and become heavier, and due to which it gets settled down at the bottom of the beaker or the test tube in which it is kept, and the lighter liquid will remain present at the upper part. So by this we can separate the solid and the liquid from each other. Now we will start with the next one, and that is evaporation. So when we talk about the evaporation, I think you all are knowing that when we give heat to a solid substance, when we give heat to that of the liquid substance or to that of the water will get converted into water vapor, and this process is known as evaporation. So here when we talk about the evaporation, so basically we are talking that this is the method which is used for separating a volatile component. Student, we have also discussed about the volatile and a non-volatile component. Volatile component is what, when you whose boiling point is less. So when you give a small amount of heat to it, that substance will get evaporated. Okay, so by this method we can separate a volatile component, and that is a liquid, that is a solvent, from a non-volatile component which is a solute, by heating the mixture. So as you give heat, then what happen, the component which is volatile in nature, especially we are talking about the separation of the solid and liquid. So here we will, so liquid, which is basically when we give heat to a liquid, it will evaporate. So when you provide heat, this volatile component will get evaporated from the solute part, from the solid part, which is actually a non-volatile component. So by this we can separate the solid to that of the liquid. So basically in case of evaporation, it is used to separate a solid substance, and that solid substance which has dissolved in the water. Okay, so when a solid substance get mixed with the water, the separation of that solid substance from that of the water in which it is dissolved is known as evaporation. Okay, now see, the dissolved substance, it when you do the process of evaporation, that dissolved substance, so that solute substance is left as a residue. when it will happen, when all the liquid it get evaporated. So after evaporation, the solute substance will left as a residue. So we can say that the use of the process of separation, process of evaporation for separating a mixture is basically based on the fact that liquid it vaporizes easily, while solid it do not vaporize easily. Okay, so when you give heat, the substance which vaporizes easily and one substance is there which do not vaporize easily. For this process we use the technique, and that is evaporation. Now see here the water is placed and you can see this water is exposed to that of the sunlight, and due to which the process of evaporation take place. So basically when we talk about the evaporation, we can understand the process by the help of a example, and that is separation of a common salt from that of water. So you see here we always talk that there are two type of water. One is the fresh water and another is the marine water. The marine water is basically also known as a saline water. So saline means what? Which consisting of a water. So this marine water it consisting of a water, that is a sea water. Okay, so sea water is a salty one. It means this sea water is consisting of a salt in it. So how can we separate the salt from that of the water? So for this we use the process of evaporation. So basically what happened, the solution of the common salt and water, it is taken in a china dish. It is taken in a china dish and heat gently by using a burner, and after that what happened, the water which is present in the salt solution will form water vapor and escape into the atmosphere. And when all the water present in the solution of a common salt and water gets evaporated, then common salt is left behind in the china dish as a white solid. Okay, so basically when we do the process of evaporation for separating the common salt and water, we will simply take that of the solution which consisting of a salt, and when you evaporate, when you give heat to that of the solution, the water due to the heat it get evaporated in the form of water vapor, while the salt it cannot get evaporated, so it will remain in the china dish. Okay, so by this we can separate the water from the salt. Now where we use this process of evaporation? Basically the process of evaporation is used on a large scale to obtain the common salt from the seawater. You can see here, there are the sea. There is a salt which is obtained from this sea water. The sea water is basically stored, and from there it can be extracted. So you see here there is some partition, you can say a dig is there in which the water is stored, and this water is now exposed to that of the sunlight, and as it is exposed to the sunlight, due to the heat which is generated by that of the sunlight, the water it get evaporated, and as you see we can separate the that of the salt will remain in this in this place where we had kept the water, and all the water get evaporated, only the salt will left behind. So by this process we can separate the common salt from the sea water. Okay, evaporation is used for recovering the dissolved solid substance from liquid mixture, but you see, the liquid itself cannot be recovered by this method. Why is this so? Because the water which get evaporated, the same amount of water we cannot take it back at the same process. Okay, because that water, it already get evaporated in the form of a water vapor, and now it is present in the atmosphere. So here we can separate the liquid substance from that of the solid substance, or we can separate the water from that of the salt. But the liquid, the water vapor, it cannot be recovered again by this method. Okay. Now you see here, there is another example of this process of evaporation, and that is when when a blue ink is a mixture of a dye in water. Okay, so when ink is there in a mixture of a dye in water, where you suppose a ink is there which is blue in color. Okay, and that blue ink is mixed in that of the water, so now it is a is what we call is a dye only, because of the presence of the water and that of the ink. Okay, so you see here that ink, this blue ink is consisting of a blue dye and a water. So blue dye is what? It is a color component. Okay, so this blue colored component, that is dye, is present in that of the ink, and here ink as well as the water is present in it. You see here, ink is there, and ink consisting of a blue dye as well as the water in it. Now, how can be separated by the process of evaporation? You see here, we will kept a beaker filled with water, and then we provide a temperature to it. As we provide the temperature to it, what happened? This water will start getting hot, and due to which the water vapor starts coming out from the water. Okay, and that water vapor work as a steam, and this steam help in evaporating the water which is present in that of the ink. Okay, this ink is also consisting of a water. So this ink is basically made up of a dye and that of the water. So when you provide heat to it, then the water will get evaporated and the dye will remain in that of the ink, or by this method we can separate the color component of the ink. Now the question arises that why we are using a beaker here, and why we are keeping this watch glass, why we are keeping this watch glass on this beaker, why we are not keeping this watch glass directly on that of the flame. It means why we are not keeping this ink directly to that of the flame. Okay, it is because when you keep it or when you give a direct heat to that of the ink, or if suppose we will keep this watch glass directly to that of the stand, due to which the heat will directly comes to the watch glass or the china dish in which we had taken the ink, then this ink will get charred. Okay, it will get burnt, you can say. Okay, so we will not obtain the color component. Okay, and due to which we cannot separate the component of the ink from that of the water, and that's why we will indirectly we will heat it, that of the ink, by the help of the steam. Okay, so here also we are doing the process of evaporation only, in which we had kept the beaker, as the beaker consisting of the water, due to the heat it will get evaporated, and the water vapor which is coming outside, or which is coming from this water, in the form of a steam, we can say, and this steam will help in evaporating the water which is present in the ink. Okay, so by this method, by the process of evaporation, we can separate the common salt from the water. and this process can be obtained on a large scale also, that is from the sea water also we can obtain it. And the second one, we can separate the ink, we can separate the mixture of a dye in that of the water, or we can separate the component of the ink from that of the water. Okay. Now see here, there is another method by which we can separate the solid substances from the liquid one, and that is known as chromatography. Now in case of a chromatography, it is a kind of a technique of separating the two or more dissolved solid which is used in a very small quantity. Okay, so this method is used for separating the colored components from a liquid by using a filter paper, or we can say by using a blotting paper. Okay, so if a component is having a different color, or if a solution is consisting of a more than a one type of a solid component in it, so we can separate the that of the process of the chromatography. Now student, this chromatography is a term which is obtained from the from a word that is chroma. So chroma, it means color. So basically we can say by that this method is used for separating the color component from the liquid by the help of a chromatography paper, or you can use a filter paper or a blotting paper also. Okay. Now when we talk about the chromatography is of different type, but we will consider a very easy type of a chromatography, and that is a paper chromatography. So when we talk about the paper chromatography, it means the chromatography is done with the help of a paper. So now see here, this paper chromatography So this paper chromatography, two or more different substances which is present in the same solution can be separated. Okay, so if a mixture of a solid component or a very small quantity of a solid component is present in a same solution, then by using the paper chromatography method, we can separate the components from it. Now see here, that substances which are dissolved, it should be dissolved in the same solvent, but their solubility, it may be different. So if suppose we are saying that a solution is there, or a solution is there which is having a solvent and a common solvent in which two or more components are dissolved in it. So you see, the both of the components are soluble in the same solvent. It is present in the same solvent, but the condition for using the chromatography technique is that the component which is mixed with that of the solvent must have a different solubility. They all have a different solubility. Okay, so if the components present in it having different solubility, then we can go through that of the chromatography technique. Now see, if suppose a black ink is there, and you know students that black ink is what? It is a mixture of several color. Several color substances, they mix together to form a black ink, and this black ink, now if it is consisting of a several color, it means it is having a different components which is present in the same solvent, and this can be separated by the process of a chromatography. chromatography. Now what we will do in the chromatography, students? In a chromatography paper, you will take a thin strip of a filter paper. Let me show you from here. You will take a thin strip of a chromatography paper. This is a thin strip of a chromatography paper. Okay, and draw a pencil line on it about 3 centimeter above from the end. So if suppose this is the chromatography paper from here to here, so from this side we will see it up to 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter we will draw a line like this. Okay, and put a small drop of ink on the filter paper at the center of the pencil line. So you will see here we will draw a line up to a 3 centimeter above from that of the one end of the filter paper, and at the center of this line we will put a small drop of black ink on it. Okay, you can see here a ink drop is there, and we will keep it so that the ink get dry properly. When the drop of the ink it will get evaporated, sorry, when the drop of the ink which will has dried now, the filter strips is lowered into a tall glass jar which is containing of some of a water or some of a solvent in its lower part. Okay, so we will keep this chromatography paper, we will keep this filter paper in that of a jar, which is see here a lid is there, a stand is there from which it is attached. This is the paper, this is the paper clip by which it is held to that of the that inside of the chromatography jar. Okay, now see here we will keep this chromatography paper, we will keep this filter paper vertically by attaching its upper end to the glass rod. This is the glass rod with the help of a sellotape so that it will not move, and the lower end of the paper, this is the lower end, it should be dipped in the water. Okay, so the lower end should be dip in the water and the upper end should be held properly to that of the glass rod with the help of a sellotape. Now what should be the condition that when you dip that lower end of the paper strip in water, the pencil line which we made it above that of the 3 centimeter, we made a pencil line about 3 centimeter from one end, that pencil line will remain above to that of the water level in the jar. Now if suppose you had made this is your pencil line, and when you, this is the pencil line. Okay, so when you held it in that of the jar, this pencil line should be above to that of the water level. You can see here a water level is there. This is the water level and the paper is dipped, this much portion is dipped inside that of the water, but that of the line which is consisting of the ink, it will remain above to that of the water level in the jar. Okay, so this should be condition that we should keep it vertically. It should not get stick to that of the glass jar, and when we keep it, the lower end at which we made that of the ink, at which we made that line, it should be above to that of the water level in the jar. When you keep it left undisturbed for some time, then what will happen? The water, when you dipped it there, the water, you can see here, this is the ink spot, this is the solvent, this is the solvent, and this ink spot is just above to that of the water level. Now the water will gradually rises up to that of the filter paper, and as it gradually rises up to that of the filter paper by that of the capillary action, when the water moves up, it takes along the dye which is present in the ink. Okay, so you had put a dot in that of the ink, and as the water will rises up, it will take take this dye also, take this color also above to that of the filter paper. Okay, so the dye, you see here, when this water will take the dye to above to that of the filter paper, as it moves start moving upward, the dye will also start moving upward. Now see here what happened. The dye which is consisting of a different component, you see the component which is more soluble in water, it will dissolve first, and as it dissolve faster, then it will rise faster and thus produces a color spot, okay, on the paper at the higher position. You can see here, these are the spots which is made upon that of the chromatography paper. So you see here, yellow is that color which is present at the higher portion, which shows that it is good in that it is more soluble in the water, and due to which it rises faster and produces a spot on the paper at the higher position. Now the dye which is less soluble in that of the ink, it will dissolve later, and as it dissolve later, it will rise slower and form a color spot at the lower height. Okay, so the dye which is consisting of a different component, the component which is a very soluble in that of the water, it as the water rises up, it will get dissolved in the water and carry to a higher position to that of the paper, to that of the filter paper. So it will rises fast and produces a color spot at a higher position. Now the component which is less soluble, as it is less soluble, so it will get less dissolved in that of the water, and thus it rises slowly and form a color spot at a lower height. Okay, so if suppose it is having 2-3 colors, so you see here a red color, it is at the lower point, at the lower height of the paper, which shows that it is less soluble in that of the water. Then you see the this purple color ink spot is showing that it is more soluble than that of the red spot. Then the blue color is there, which is more soluble than that of the purple and red spot. Then the green one, and finally the yellow spot is showing, this yellow spot is showing that it is very soluble in that of the water, and as the water rises up, it will also rises and produces a color spot on the paper at a higher position. So in this way, all the dye which is present in that of the black ink can be easily separated. Now when the water reaches to that of the top surface, when it reaches to the top end of the filter paper, that paper strip is removed from the jar and dried, and the paper with a separate color spot is called a chromatogram. Okay. After that, as it get dried, we will take out this paper and we will make the paper to dry, and as it get dried, this paper is now having the different components with us, different color components are present in this paper. So now this paper is known as a chromatogram. Chromatogram. One second. It is known as a chromatogram. Okay, so it is known as a chromatogram. Now the chromatogram, which is obtained by using a black ink in this experiment, has 3 colored spot on it. It means right now here it is not 3, here it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see here in this chromatogram 5 components are there. It means the ink which we had placed it in, which we had put it in that of the 3 centimeter at one end of the paper. Basically this ink is composed of 5 different dyes in it. So it consisting of 5 different dyes mixed in it. Okay, so whatever the different components that we obtain from that of the chromatogram, the different color spot, the separate different color spot that of the chromatogram decides that the dye is made up of how or what is the number of the components which is present in that particular dye. Okay. So this is the process of the chromatography, in which we kept the chromatography paper in the chromatography jar, and from where we will separate the different components from the particular dye.